Nearly. Nearly. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're well. Nice to see all these smiling faces again. At least I hope you're smiling, because I'm smiling. It's a 4-hour day today, and it's nothing but cruisy. No efforts, just riding. We've got a CV arcade race tonight. There's a big prize pot with that actually, but it's also quite a fun tactical game. Not paid to say that, just saying it out of the kindness of my heart. And I'm looking forward to it. It's the first time I've been on it for a while, so I'm gonna have to get used to it again. But anyway, this block this week is gonna be pretty big. We've got 4 hours today, and an hour this evening, 5 hours tomorrow morning, and then 7 hours the day after, and then 4 hours the day after that, so Friday. And then we head up to London Friday evening, and I'm away in London Saturday, then I'm back home Saturday evening. No ride on Sunday planned, but we'll see how we get on. Also, I've not heard much from the team, which is kind of usual for this time of year. There's a lot of admin stuff to do. You know, obviously there's no real rush. Still January the 6th, 7th, whatever it is. So no idea when bikes, kit, you know, meet up, all that sort of stuff. No idea when that's going to happen yet, but it's all good, because hopefully, because my schedule was pretty busy in January, hopefully that'll all happen in early February, so it doesn't quite clash, because yeah, I'm pretty busy. This road, actually just back there, was the finish for the National Time Trial Championships. Literally finished just there. When I think Wiggle won it, but it was Wiggle, Geraint, and then Froome. Like the three of them were on the podium. I don't know if anybody remembers that. I was here, I actually rode like on this bit of road, and Wiggins came flying past me. Also Michael Hutchinson came flying past me. But it was surreal. Like, I wasn't competing, I was riding to a marshal point on the course. I must have been only 15, 14, I can't remember. Last night I attended Bynea Cycling Club's committee meeting, because I am now on their board of committee meeting members, and we had quite a lot to talk about. Obviously I'm kind of heading the structured ride coordinator role, but yeah, we talked about like Zwift racing. We talked about like having a night on the club where I set up Zwift, because we now have Wi-Fi there. Not many clubs have clubhouses, which is quite unique for us. And we were talking about creating some kind of content where, you know, people from the club would come down and cheer me on in real life on the Zwift race. And I think it's got scope to like be really fun for a lot of people, because we were thinking of having a few people down and we can all race or do a workout on Zwift down the clubhouse, and yeah, have like a group ride that way, or group workout, a little bit to like just spice up the whole turbo training world. Because like a lot of people that come down our club to do turbo training, they just have a piece of paper with all their efforts written on, and I know that's great, but some people require a bit more stimulus than that. So fueling for like weeks like this on the bike is critical, and I can't really show you everything because it gets a little bit tedious, but I can at least tell you half the story. And Jerry involves a lot of food, but I started today off with a bagel with a banana mashed up on it and some honey, so fully carbs. Now we could talk all day long about, you know, whether or not I wanted to use this as a fat burning ride or whatever, Truth of the matter is though, I'm at a great weight at the minute and I'm not too worried about things like that. But last night, and this is the thing, you know, I got up at 6:15 today for a 7 o'clock start. I have a big meal the night before because I know that I won't really be able to have such a big breakfast, especially if I want to fuel correctly on the bike, because if I have a big breakfast and then I hit the road like half an hour later, like I won't want to eat for like 2 hours. So you have to kind of work that out for yourself. For me it works, but I always eat the smaller breakfast when I'm doing an early one like this one. I don't get up earlier to get a bigger breakfast in, I just eat more the night before. You don't want to sacrifice, you know, breaking your sleep. You're already getting up early enough as it is if you want to do an early start. Oh, I forgot to tell you as well, last night before the committee meeting, I had a really good phone call conversation with the great Chris Hall. Those of you that follow Francis Kidd's videos, his YouTube channel, Chris is a very frequent character that you see on his videos. Very good friend, obviously, and helps to portray a different side to that cycling life. And being from London, you know, the cycling game is obviously very different to where it is all the way down west with me. But we talked a lot about like this year and my goals, my alternative racing calendar, as in the hill climb stuff, and how it's a completely separate thing. He gets it totally, and I wouldn't have expected anything else. But such a influential guy in my opinion, you know, Chris. I think for those of you that do know him, you know where I'm coming from when I say this, because like for me, you know, I've got lots of local keen cyclists around me. They all know Chris, like know of him, and they know, you know, his exploits in the time trialing scene, the 24-hour stuff, and you know, seeing his kind of rise, you know, and his progression over the last, you know, couple of years, especially. It's been documented thanks to Francis. So it was great to talk to Chris, and I think a lot of, well, what we talk about, or what we talked about rather, is going to help with this year, and I can't wait to show you that. Part of that is going to be coming this weekend. I know you've probably seen it, but my frame bag is a necessity on rides like this, because it frees up my pockets a lot, and it's a game changer. It quite literally is a game changer. Like the fact that I can now carry all my food, I've got 6 or 7 bars in there, which allows me to hit whatever target I want to in terms of carb intake, which for today is around 50 an hour. It makes it like, I've got water in my bottles as well, so that doesn't count. But it makes it so easy and so comfortable as well, so you're not carrying food. I'm not trying to carry a pump, which is also in there, my house keys, you know, my gilet is in my back pocket. So on my person, I'm actually carrying very little, and it feels really good. So this weekend I'm meeting up with Phil from the Bike Racing Without Mercy YouTube channel, and he raced on the weekend in the Zwift Fondo, which I also did. I finished second to a guy that took an absolute flyer early on, but I was more impressed with my ride. 2 hours 10 into the ride, of averaging around 3.5 watts per kilo, 4 watts per kilo, I managed to pull out 5.8 for 20 minutes, which is the best I've ever done on the turbo. But of course, most people will know, for me, you know, I could do more power outside than I can do inside. So we're looking at like maybe 5.9, 6 watts per kilo at the minute for 20 minutes. Fatigued, or not entirely fatigued, it's only 2 hours of riding, but you know what I mean. It's quite interesting because I'm going to pick apart, I'm going to do an actual video soon about my first proper goal, which is Cyclist in Mallorca. I'm going to really pick it apart and show you how I break it down, show you my target for it and everything like that. So the road to that starts with that number there, in effect, you know, 5.8. So I'm pretty pleased with that. But of course, the other guys racing, we had Tim Fulford, we had Gus Booman, we had Phil, obviously, and they all rode really well, like really strongly, and not too far behind either. Tim coming in inside the top 20, and then Phil was not too far back either. I think he only finished a couple of minutes down, which is great, because if you find yourself in a group that works well, that time passes a lot quicker, obviously. I'm gonna give it away really when I say this, but we're going to the Bespoke store, and I think it's Gresham Street or Gresham Street. So we're going to the Bespoke store mid-morning. So if you're in the area and you fancy saying hello, then come along, we'll be there. I think there's a cafe there, so we might be having a cup of coffee before heading over to the Olympic Park. Phil's going to do a race. I think it's a thirds and fourths cat race, and I'm going to go along as well to support, so that should be pretty cool. Alright, so I'm just finishing up now. I've got 30 minutes left almost of this ride, and I'm just gonna have a look at my average cadence. So average cadence is 78, which is reasonably low. So what I've been trying to implement in my final part of my rides is consciously making an effort to spin faster, and it's only for half an hour, so I can kind of stomach it. But it's more about, like, I've been riding at a fairly low cadence, a lot of slow twitch muscle fiber recruitment. This is basic science, by the way. And then I'm just kind of almost pushing my fast twitch to come alive, because I rarely ever use them, I gotta be honest with you. And it's something that, because I'm doing something different this year, I really want to work on that a little bit more. So I'm aiming for around about 100 RPM for the last hour, and a couple of spin ups with that as well. So, you know, going well over that for a short period of time. And that'll conclude Tuesday's session. Whew.